Hello YouTube, this is Darkon633 and today I'm bringing a review of the Transformers Robots in Disguise 2015 Warrior Class Sideswipe. Now Sideswipe, unfortunately, is not one of my most favorite figures in the line so far. It's actually got quite a lot of finicky problems and it kind of annoys me slightly when going into transformation between either mode. But anyways, before we go on to the toy, we'll take a quick look at the box as usual. As you can see, it's in the typical slimmed down Robots in Disguise scale, and if I can reach it, sorry about that. And he transforms in 10 steps, which is a little bit more than some of the other Robots in Disguise figures. At the bottom it shows that the other figures include Jazz, which I've reviewed already, Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, which I've also reviewed. Front we see a design of Sideswipe, and on the side we see the same photo, just kind of enlarged. But that's pretty much it for the box otherwise, but it is still pretty nice that it's a lot smaller so that they can have more shelf space for the toys and so on. But anyways, we'll now go on to the figure itself. It only contains one accessory, which is this really cool katana blade, but there isn't really any design to it besides a cool handle. But that's it. There's no real design to it at all. There's like no Cybertronian edging or anything. There is a slight line here, as you can see, but that's it. I've seen better looking swords, so this is kind of a bland design. Anyways, we'll now go on to the articulation points. His head is on a ball joint, which allows full movement. And unfortunately, similar to what I've seen with Generations Blitzwing, he suffers from the fact that these pegs don't sit in very properly in the chest component here. So these pieces do kind of get loose, and the same thing with the arms and shoulders. But anyways, his shoulders can bend about that far. Can also swivel about that far because it kind of just goes in with the wheel on the shoulder. His arms can swivel, but only down here, on a ball joint here. And it can bend 90 degrees back and forth, but that's it there. He has no hand articulation. He has no waist articulation, but his legs can go around this far through a pin joint, not so much a ball joint this time. And his legs can swivel, bend at the knee just a little bit more than 90 degrees, actually a lot more than 90 degrees due to transformation, and his feet can pivot quite a bit due to transformation. Now, transformation-wise, this is where it becomes kind of a headache, because while this is a really cool design step, it took me a little while to figure out how to actually transform this component. What you're going to do is kind of do this whole 360 thing and kind of turn the entire leg around and play around with it. Eventually you do get the design that you're supposed to turn this entire component around in a way so that these pieces can sit up on top. So once you get everything played around with, you should eventually get that done. And as you can see, it's already being kind of a nuisance already to me. I really think the design is a cool design, but I don't know why it has to be kind of this annoying at the same time. Since you kind of need to fiddle around with the legs and components at the same time. So it looks like that, as you can see there. For some reason, it's giving me a hard time. So let's see, we get it to the other side. And there you go. So you can see there. So you do need to play around with it a bit, and it does kind of do a loop-de-loop back and forth there within the legs. The arms come out here like this. Pull down this chest component here. And then what you're going to do is turn these pieces around so that the red pieces face forward. So now it looks like this. You're going to make sure that these pieces go between the black pieces there to form the front of the car. And they actually peg into these clear pegs, which I absolutely despise that we have a new toy that uses a lot of clear pegs, since the arms are also slightly unclear pegs here because of the way that the windows are designed. So I really do not like that design there. But once you get that together, it looks like that. Then you're going to take these leg components, plug them together, and you're going to pull them over the red pegs here. Could be a bit tricky due to the clear windows being in the way. So looks like that. And then to finish up the transformation, you kind of need to play around with this and plug in the clear joints into the little areas there. It could be quite tricky. So I can see a lot of kids having a little fumbling playing around with this toy. So keep that in mind. But if you get everything together, then it should peg into place like so. Once again, it's going to be quite a bit of a problem trying to get everything together. Finally, we got Sideswipe in his vehicle mode. And here we have Sideswipe in his vehicle mode. As you can see, transforming it into this mode is a lot harder of a task than it really needs to be. His wheels are made of the hard plastic similar to Jazz, but unlike Jazz, his wheels have a lot more freedom to move, so the wheels actually turn well enough. He does have these really nice Japanese designs, which I don't really know what they are on the top, except yeah, I'm not really sure exactly. I think something about samurai somewhere on here. Same thing with the chest here. There's another Japanese design there. And that's pretty much it for the vehicle mode otherwise. He does also sport the Autobot logo for scanning. So let's see if we can get that focused. Get the scan. But anyways, what's cool is that you can store the sword on top via this very small indent there. You kind of just need to place in one of the handle pieces into the area there, and there you can kind of store the sword, even though it doesn't fit on very well, so keep that in mind. And it looks kind of strange in design-wise. But otherwise, that's pretty much what you can expect for his vehicle mode. Now, while Sideswipe isn't particularly a bad figure, it's definitely one of the weakest figures of the wave, and maybe even RID so far altogether. The peg problems when you're trying to transform it into vehicle mode, and even in robot mode, that the shoulders don't exactly peg in properly is a bit of an issue. And while it really does have a really unique transformation design, it kind of falters when things just don't go into place, and it's a real headache sometimes transferring it back and forth. Now, for kids, I can kind of recommend it since it is still a pretty simple toy, regardless of the fact that the pieces have a hard time sticking together, but even then, it's kind of hard to recommend for everyone just because he is a bit of a problematic design. Overall, I still think Sideswipe is decent enough for a pickup, and it is one of the main Autobots featured on the show, so if you want to collect the full team, this is pretty much what you're going to get. But anyways, please kindly subscribe, and don't forget to check out Hero Otaku for the latest in hero news. Also, check down the channels down below. Check out the WW Podcast and its new channel, which I've listed below. And don't forget to check me out on Twitter under Darkon633. And I'll see you YouTube. Bye.